All right, here we go. Big Daddy Shane hanging out with, yeah, I had a crazy experience. Some of you guys know that I am going to buy a house. Yes, I will buy a house hopefully within a year and we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I never did this before, right? So, I'm like the regular first time buyers and like, oh, you go on the websites and check out the houses. You see, like, oh, okay, maybe I'll find a $400,000 house in LA, right? No, because the thing is, there are no $400,000 houses in LA, right? And then so you go, okay, go to 450,000. Okay, you go, oh, they're much better than that. How about 500,000? Okay, well, all right, then it's better than seeing what you can't have. But you get the point. But it's funny because in the beginning I'm like, yeah, maybe I can afford 500,000, some whatever. And then you go, well, let's see what a 550,000 one, 600,000, right? And then next thing you know, you're looking at 650, 700,000, 750, 800,000. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't even afford this stuff, right? And then one day you do the search and you forget to put your limits on the cap. And then so I go, oh my gosh, look at this house. It has 7 rooms and it's only $800,000. Like I'd afford any, right? Then I look closely, it was $8 million. I'm like, okay, whatever. Besides the point, I'm learning this whole internet looking for a house type thing, right? So, a lot of you guys know that I work in Victorville, right? And then I want to buy a house. I don't want to go to Victorville because I want my mom to live with me, and I want her to be closer to her friends. So I need to find a good distance around a certain area, and then so I found a place, and then so I was looking like Walnut area and all this, all this stuff, right? But when I'm going online, you look at your price range and you see the different stuff. You go, wow, this house looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, there's a pool. Oh, this. And you fall in love with the house like, when you first start doing it. And then what happens is, you're anxious. You're like, oh, that's the house, that's the house, that's the house. But then, you know, it gets sold and you're like distraught going, oh, I should have done it, right? And then so yeah, that happened to me too. And then also you look at a house, you fall in love with the house, you're like, oh my gosh, amazing. And then, it's funny because it's like, okay, I know this is kind of bad, but it's like, when you're in high school, right? And then, you see like me being a guy, you see all the girls in school, whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, these are the girls in our school. But the thing is, guys from other school thinks that your girls are hot. But you're like, they just are like your sisters and stuff, right? And then, but you still see them every day. That's just like looking at these pictures of these houses. Then all of a sudden, someone lists a new one, like the new girl in school comes, like, oh, you're checking her out and stuff, right? Huh, I wonder, whatever. But anyways, eventually that girl becomes one of the regulars and just see the same listings. So, I realized that, I have to save up for a down payment of a house, right? So in the meantime, all I could do is just window shop. But my friends keep telling me, yeah, you got to go to these open houses. But I feel weird going to these open houses because you guys know how I dress, right? So I didn't want to go in there. The agent's going to go, oh, look at this person wasting our time, whatever, right? But I heard it's super fun. So, I've been looking at the same houses for like maybe 2 months, right? I seen what stayed, what gone, some that are listed for maybe like a week, brand new, some listed for like a half a year, right? But then some of them were like in like a higher range than what I could probably afford. But then I saw the price go down. And then I heard that you could like bid lower. They might take it, they might not. The worst it could say is no, right? So anyways, today Harold calls me out for breakfast. And then he's like, yeah, my car's the thing. Okay, whatever. So we're trying to think about what we're going to do. And I go, dude, if your car's going to take a couple hours, let's check out some of these houses. He's all, yeah, let's do it. So we look and saw all the open houses. And then one of the houses that I wanted to get was open house. And actually Harold was looking at a house also in, a city close by too. So we go there, and it turns out that it started at 1, and then no one was there. It was like 11, and they were like, ah, crap. But we know we're looking at the street and stuff. I got to see this house up close. I'm like, okay, the scenery, it looks pretty good and stuff, but the outside, we're just looking at cracks in the driveway, and we're like, gosh, just things that you don't see. But then we're noticing that, the landscape is pretty awesome. There's fruit trees and stuff, and then okay. But then Harold said there's something weird about the street. It's like it was too quiet, right? And I'm like, dude, that's what it's like over here. It's all right, right? And then so since we're in the house looking mood, we decided to go look at some other houses. And then there's another one. There was like, it was like 600,000 or something. I don't know. But we went there, and then when we drove in the neighborhood, it was pretty awesome. I mean, the pictures of this house were like insane. I was going, oh my gosh, it looks pretty nice, whatever, right? And they're talking about like, it was like 1,300 square foot house, which is not that big of a house. It's pretty small, but the land was point 0.2 acres. So it's a lot of land. So we're like, okay, let's see what we could do on this one. So we go over there, we go inside, and then yes, it just didn't feel right. Because what happens is this house, okay, just picture I'm in the house right here, right? There's a street that goes all the way down this huge hill. So, I'm just thinking like, wow, what if a runaway car comes down? It's going to crash straight into the house, right? And so you're like, okay, it's probably not a good idea. You look at the street lights up there and you're like, wow, people in the living room are going to be, dang, it's pretty bright out here. And then so they put a tree, they planted this huge tree to cover that light. It's like, okay, now here's reason like 5,000,043 on why Harold's such an awesome friend, one of my best friends in the world. We go there, and then he's looking at the house, go, oh look, this room was just put in right. This wasn't supposed to be here. It's a bad space on here. Oh, look at the plaster up on the ceiling. Yeah, see those cracks over there? They did this on this. And then over here, oh yeah, they did this. And then so I'm just tripping out, you know? And then so, when we went to the backyard, he's analyzing all this stuff. Oh, look, the roof, and he's touched part of the roof thing. Okay, the roof's good. It's a brand new roof and stuff. And then so the yard was pretty awesome, right? And then the inside of the house, not so much. So what happened is like the living room was the size of like a small bedroom, right? I'm like, this is strange. What they did was they built another room, so it cut the living room in half. And then so there's no really place to eat and stuff like this. I'm like, what if I invite my friends over, right? We're gonna hang out in like somebody's room. It looked like a room with a fireplace. I mean, like a bedroom with a fireplace. So what happened is we both agreed, like, if I got that one, I totally have to gut it out. I'm going, dude, how much do you think it'd cost to like gut out the house and rebuild it? He's like, I don't know, maybe $10,000. I'm like, yes. I mean, Harold the handyman. And then they call him that for a reason, right? And then so, we're just thinking about all just how we're going to do it. It's like, okay, that's that. But wasn't really feeling it. And just like, when I talked about like the trumpet or, car or anything, when you go and then you see it come off and you like fall in love and like draws to you, like, oh, like, yes, this one. This one, I don't know, really didn't do it for me, right? So the pictures were amazing though, right? But then when you're there in real life and actually touch the walls, turn on the switch, you open the drawers and they're like creaking and stuff like this. They don't close properly. You're like, okay, this is horrible. You're all of a sudden the dollars start add up on what you need to fix it, right? And then so eventually we go to this other place, and it was in a city that was like borderline. It looked like a nice area when you like drove up there, right? And then, but thing is, there were a bunch of houses that were on sale there. It's like, gosh. So I'm passing, is this it? This it? This it? This it? But it looked really nice. And we get to the house that we're going to look at, but it said by appointment only. It's like, oh, this sucks. It's not even that good of a house. F it, right? So we drove back, and then he goes, look at that house. It's just empty, but there's no for sale sign. Dude, how do you know? He said, I just know. Stop right here. So we stopped right there. And then one thing I noticed about the street was it's a wide street, but there's a ton of cars over there, right? I mean, a lot. Like, I don't know. It was like trick-or-treating or something. I don't know what, right? Daytime. But we stopped at that house, and we noticed there's 4 mailboxes, right? So it was just a regular house, but it had 4 different residents on there. And we're looking, and all the houses had multiple mailboxes. So it's like, oh, okay. So what these people did in this neighborhood, even though it was a nice looking neighborhood, they're dividing it up. So like it's like 4 different residents, 2 different residences. So a lot of people were probably just renting out rooms in like these houses. So it's like, I don't want to live there. No, horrible, right? So did that, went back to the place. Now the other house we were looking at, it's been on the internet for about a half year. I've been watching this thing. I watched the price go down about $70,000, right? But it's like, oh, the view's awesome, the fruit trees, 2-story house, and whatever, right? So I went there. The realtor wasn't there. We're waiting there, and they weren't even there early, helped set up. And then so they got there late after 1 something. Anyways, eventually they got in there, and then when we walked in there, yeah, it's a pretty decent room. But then as soon as you got in, they had another addition thing too, where it like you go inside, you see the big living room, and then there's a literally a small room big enough just for like a little circle table. That was like your dining room. And then you go to the kitchen, and then the other living room back there. He said, "Oh yeah, look, this is an add-on, right?" And they didn't do that good of a job. I look up. He says, "See how it kind of like goes down this way? It goes downward, right?" I'm like, "Oh, right." And then you see like a lot of shoddy stuff on it. And then going downstairs, there's a room that would have been awesome for my mom, right? But then the cracks in the driveway. I'm like, dude, how much you think it costs to fix this? He's like, you really shouldn't, but maybe about $10,000. I'm like, okay, everything costs $10,000, right? Anyways, we go upstairs, and then there's we saw a bedroom up there. There's a bathroom, and then all of a sudden there's 2 bedrooms. But there's the 2 bedrooms that look outside to the front. It's really awesome view. Was just regular bedrooms. But then on the other side was the master bedroom, and you just have a look at your backyard. And then it's like, it should have been reversed, right? But Michelle, she told me something about like the sun rising or whatever, but the sun was blaring on that master bedroom side. It's like the master bedroom should have been on the other side, right? And then so when me and Harold were talking, it's like, oh wow, what if we just gutted that top floor and just make it one big master bedroom? That'd be hot, right? But ultimately, the vibe from this house was like, get out. No, I'm kidding. There's no ghost in this one. But it just didn't seem right. And then like, dude didn't speak English. And I just wasn't feeling it, especially for that price. So it's one of those things where it's like I look at these prices that they're going, and there's a reason why that house was not selling, and it's been a half year, right? So this thing's been on for 180 days or whatever, And then there are also some houses that are like more than a year, but then some, like a month, 20 something days, whatever, right? But this one, it's like even if I like underbid, like I think it's $720,000, there's no freaking way they're gonna get $720,000 for this one. Maybe they could get like 5, or maybe some silly person's gonna get 6, But it's like it just wasn't worth the effort on that one. So I'm like, ugh. So the lesson I learned from this one is, people tell me that houses come and go. You might fall in love with a house, maybe not, but you don't know unless you actually physically go there, right? And even when you go there, it might not call your name. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. Long process. And then you're going to be spending like the most money you ever spent in your life, right? So that's why it's like you got to make sure that this is the one that you want. So then Harold told me, yeah, there's other house that he wants in Silver City, right? He said, yeah, this is a perfect one. Look at it. It's this affordable, and then, it's right on the golf course, all that stuff, right? I'm looking at the pictures like, oh my gosh, this might be it, right? So anyways, while we're driving there, right? First of all, it's hard to get to. I mean, it's like really deep in the city. And then when we go there, we pull in there. There are a couple other houses for sale, but it was it wasn't the best neighborhood ever, right? So Harold lives in LA, and you know, I got the potholes on my street and stuff, whatever. But the houses that on my car from driving on the thing, but the houses in his neighborhood are way better than this one, right? And these ones supposedly cost more, but you're looking at this all crammed together and stuff. They say lots of land, right? But what it is you have the house, and then it goes all the way like here, but this last part, it's just a big incline like this. So basically, your house land is like right here. Now, the thing is, it's a beautiful view from outside, right? But inside, I don't know. It just, we both weren't feeling it. And, the realtor's trying to say all this other stuff like, oh, yeah, the housing market's hot. And it's not hot right now. And then so it had a pool, but the fence was like a chain link fence, So it was really strange on that thing, too. But then while we're there, and then, when we're driving there, Harold was super excited. I think this is the one. This might be the one. And then when we got there, this isn't the one. I mean, it wasn't the best house ever. And then so, so both of us went from like these houses that we really wanted to like, okay, we pass, right? We'll just go and save up more money and then see what happens later. So the main thing is, I'm probably going to blog like when I actually get my final loan approved. And I have to wait for my December paycheck, a couple of paychecks, and see. And then save my down payment and really go for it. Then I'm going to video my whole adventure on looking for a house and actually buying a house, moving in, all that stuff. It's going to be amazing, right? But today I got the taste of this, and I realized it's very important that if you're going to buy a house, you got to go look at the house. Don't go by pictures. I mean, if any of you guys ever did online dating, you know exactly what I mean. That's why I take those funky pictures like this, right? No surprises, right? I'm not going to like do a professional hedge. Well, okay, maybe I would, but yeah, I'm not just me, right? But people aren't the same in their pictures. Just like houses are not the same in their pictures. Same thing, food. You go to like, even McDonald's, and like, the chicken nuggets look so amazing when you see the picture, but when you get it, you're like, oh, disappointment, right? Now, one day I heard you actually do see the picture, you go and see it, and you fall in love with it immediately. That's when you're supposed to buy. Just like cars. You see all the car commercials, and then like you go see it in person, like, oh, this Honda Accord's I'm not feeling this one. It's like the same one from 10 years ago. Oh, this Toyota Camry, it's too small, right? Then you get the Avalon. You're like, yes, this is it. This is gonna be Big Daddy Shin, right? So that's the whole thing on housing, and I'm really glad that Harold took me out. Now Michelle wanted to go out. She said, "Hey, I'm gonna take you out, house shopping." It's great. I mean, I am gonna go with her, but Harold is the one. If you're gonna buy a house, make sure you take somebody who knows structure on houses and then how much it's gonna cost. Because one house, it didn't have any landscaping. So then I'm saying, hey, Harold, so what if we did this? What if we put grass in? Okay, you just put the seeds on. But what if we do AstroTurf? No, it's gonna get too hot. Your mom's gonna hate it. Okay, what if we do like put a bunch of cement, and then he says, oh yeah, okay, now we're talking. But you probably want to do brick. So it's like, all this stuff when we're talking about the different options, I'm like, I didn't know this stuff. And he said, yeah, you probably want to plant these kind of plants here. Maybe have a little tree here, stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude's amazing, right? Oh yeah, this wall right here, we'll take it out and make this room bigger. Or we could put something right here. It's like fascinating. I mean, I wish I would have known this stuff when I was younger. So some of you guys watching it, you guys understand this stuff too. So it's all a journey. Okay. But anyways, I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as time goes. Right. Anyways, Big Daddy Shin. If I could go look for a house at open house, you could go look for a house at open house. Or just go to open house. It's actually pretty interesting to go there because they have no idea if you're going to buy it or not. They have no idea if you could afford it or not. Just go, right? Real estate agents just hanging out there by themselves. So anyways, that's about it. See you next time.